Hey you guys, it's me Deja and I'm back with another video for you. Don't mind how crusty, sweaty, musty I may look. Look, I just got back from class. I'm a little hot, but I wanted to make this video for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. What's good? What's good? Quick announcements. I'm in summer school, so I'm gonna try to pump out videos like I usually do. I want to keep you guys here on my channel. I don't want you guys to unsubscribe because you feel like I'm not here. I'm still here for you guys. I'm just focusing on work, so bear with me. Follow my Snapchat to get daily, semi-daily updates from me. I'm on there a lot, I'm on Facebook a lot, and I'm on Instagram a lot. So if you really want to see this beautiful sweaty face, follow my Snapchat. That'll be at the end of this video. Now this video is about one of the worst relationships I have ever had. And I had this relationship about 3 years ago when I first started college, basically. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I was 17, I was still in high school, and I met this guy on May 16th, 2013. If any of you guys have been in events in high school, you know you have the whole FCCLA, FBLA, you have those clubs, and then while you're in the clubs, they have like countywide, regional events that people who are in the club from different schools meet in one place and they compete for awards for that club for the school. And that's basically where I met him. I met him at an FCCLA convention in Athens, Georgia, and we were both riding in the same charter bus. He was from one school, I was from another school, and the stereotypes from both of our schools were total opposites. My school had this is my high school, if you guys can see it. My school had the ratchet and ghetto stereotype, which it really wasn't. And that school had the prissy, uppity, stuck-up type of stereotype, which it really wasn't. We both were in the same school district, so we all were taught the same things. The only difference was they had to wear uniforms, we didn't. And the people from that school looked differently from how some of the people from my school looked. That was pretty much it. You know, we all from the same area, we all gonna act the same way. A little alley, little ghetto, little ratchet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But that is besides the point. So I met him at this convention, and I didn't like meet him. I saw him. And what happened was, the day we were coming back to school, they got off before my school did. And you know how under the carriage of a charter bus, people put their luggage and stuff. That's where everybody put their luggage except for this school. They brought their luggage onto the charter bus and put it in the back. And I'm like, in my head, and a lot of people who were from my school were like, why do y'all bring y'all stuff on the bus when y'all could have just threw it under the carriage? But you know what? That was none of our business. For all we know, the carriage could have been full. So he comes back, and he's like standing there waiting to get his luggage, and for some reason I just stared at him, and I can't explain it, but it wasn't even a feeling. It just, my whole being was directed to his being, and we, you know, stared at each other for a while, and it was weird, but it didn't feel weird outwardly. You know how when you do something and you don't really feel bad for doing it, but your conscience is saying this is bad, but you don't feel like it's bad. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. Like, I was doing it and my conscience was like, this is weird, but it didn't feel weird. So, you know, we looked at each other, we exchanged glances. He got off the bus. Later that same exact day, I get on my Instagram, and who do I see? I see this dude. We're gonna call him Toby. So I see Toby post a post that says, text me anything that you ever want to tell me. You know, board posts that people will put on Facebook and Instagram to, you know, interact with their followers, you know, slide in the DMs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So it was basically like one of those things. So I was like, I feel like I want to text him. So I asked the dumbest question. I was like, were you on the bus to the FCCLA event? And he was like, yeah, that was me. He was like, I didn't even know I followed you. And I was like, oh yeah. So we chatted it up, had a nice little general conversation, got to know each other briefly. And he was pretty cool. So before I knew it, that whole week, like, we were communicating. We was texting, we was getting to know each other. He was real cool, he was real funny. I was real cool, I was real funny. It was like we was vibing, and I really liked that. So I don't know if it was like maybe a week later, maybe a couple weeks later, I was like, I really like you, but I mean, I like you as in like, you cool as, you know, you real chill. Like, I like you like a homie type of like you. And he was like, yeah, I like you too. And so, you know, we just continued talking, and it went from there. Now, as you know, the months went on, we get to April, we start talking a little more deeply, and it's kind of like we start feeling each other. So we start expressing that to each other, and we realize we have mutual feelings for each other. So it's like boom bam, we going down that road to Talksville. So y'all know how this story goes. God, we get to talking, and you say stuff like, oh, good morning babe, good morning wifey, good morning husband, so happy I met you, you know, can't see my life without you, and stuff like that. It got around time for prom, and I remember like I really wanted him to go to prom with me. And so I was like, hey, do you want to go to prom with me? He was like, yeah, sure. And then we started talking a little bit, and I was like, yeah, we gotta pay due by this time, da da da. And then he backed out at the last minute, and I was kind of hurt, I was kind of devastated, but it was like, it was cool, whatever. And so I kind of brought up the whole prom, going to his prom, and he was like, I kind of already got a date. Now his date was his best friend. His best friend is gorgeous. She's gorgeous, I'm not even gonna lie. So I was jealous of her naturally, because I'm like, she's gorgeous, how do you not get some type of feeling for her, you know? I peeped game back then. So I remember we would have talks, and I was like, have you ever like liked your best friend? Have you ever pursued her? And he was like, yeah, I used to like her, but you know, that passed. And I was like, okay, cool, alright, that's fine. So, you know, when I would see them post on social media, I would get salty, because I'm like, she's gorgeous, he could be cheating on me with her. I was a little insecure. But back to us. We were talking really heavy going into the summer. Like, it was to the point where he was like, I can't see my life without you, I love you so much, you're my wife. We was talking about our future together, children, how our house would be, how our wedding would be. We just vibed so much, and I felt like we were like almost one person. We would finish each other's thoughts, we would be thinking the same thing, or so I thought. I question that now, but anyway, it would be kind of like we had a connection. Like, I would text him, and I'll be like, some, how you doing? He'd be like, oh, I was just about to text you, I felt that you were missing me, you know, it was stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So we going through summer, chilling, talking. I'm on cloud 9, because this is one of the first relationships that I had ever had that I had felt this deeply about anyone ever. And I'm just all happy and giddy, and my friends are noticing, and you know, we had a little kick message, and you know, I would talk about him. They was like, oh, let's add the guys in. We had a little guys and girls kick message where everybody in there with they boo, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's when problems started, but I will get to that later on. So I noticed as we got closer to orientation for freshmen going into college, we were going to 2 different colleges. He was going to his college, and I went to UWG, as you guys know. So from the get-go, I was very nervous about this, because I knew in the past that I had a tendency to mess up relationships. So I would express to him, I feel like I'm gonna mess this up, like I really don't want to mess this up, I feel like we got a good thing going, I really want us to, you know, last. And he's like, I'm not gonna let you mess this up, we're gonna do everything we can, excuse me, to make this last, we're gonna stay together forever. Yeah. So it got closer to his orientation, because his was before mine, and something switched. I remember the time we talked and we had a conversation about how he was talking to his brother who went to my school, and his brother was like, I don't think y'all gonna work out, y'all going to different colleges, college is a whole new ball game, which it is a whole new ball game. If y'all want me to make a whole video about how college is a whole new ball game, I can do that for you. So yeah, he was talking to his brother, and his brother was putting these doubts in his head, and he was believing it. So he voiced that to me, and he got me nervous because I was in his position when we first started talking, and now it's switched. So what's going on here? So he had talked to his brother, and his brother, you know, was letting him know, hey, your relationship might not last in college because, you know, these are two different environments that you're in now. Once you get there, there'll be more people there, more things that interest you, more people there. And he was basically like, maybe it's best for y'all to take a break until both of you guys graduate college, because that's what him and his girlfriend did. So he told me this, and he was like, you know, I'm really not sure if this will work because of what my brother told me, and I've been thinking. And so I'm like, well, we can still try it out to see. You know, you never know, we might be one of those couples that actually makes it through, because it's not unheard of to start in a relationship in college and end in that same relationship. Yeah, you're going to go through certain trials and tribulations. That's with every relationship, period. But it's still worth a try. And so he agreed, but then he was still going back and forth. So let me tell you guys what happened when his orientation time came. So when it was time for him to go to orientation, he told me this.
I think I'm going to go on orientation with the mindset of a single person, and then I'll let you know how I feel like this will work when orientation is over.
What? What? We talking all deep like we finna get in a relationship. Like we talking deep, we talking heavy. You coming to my house, we hanging out, we spending a little time. I felt like we were so connected. You felt like I was your other half. I felt like you were mine. But you decide to go into orientation as a single person. So I was like, okay. I was so confused. So his whole orientation, he didn't hit me up. And I believe his orientation was about 2 days and 1 night. I didn't hear a lick from him those whole 2 days and 1 night. I was panicking. I was like, what if he never texts me back? What if this is the end? I'm going to be so hurt. You guys, I was so emotionally invested in this man. It was not funny at all. I was so hurt. I was like, is this the end? Like, what am I going to do? I really love this guy. So I'm basically just waiting on him to text me. Mind you guys, this is the summer before college. People are having the most fun they can have. They're having the time of their lives before they come to college, just to have more fun, you know, to get to know more people. And I'm sitting here waiting on this dude to hit me back up. I'm checking all his social media. I'm seeing what he's talking about. I'm seeing who he's taking pictures with, who he's communicating with, you know, if he's communicating with anybody. And I'm seeing little stuff, and I'm just like, okay, what am I gonna do? So finally I get a text after he leaves orientation. He's like, we're gonna be okay. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, you know, it's cool, it's fine. Which translates to, I didn't see any cute girls to fuck at orientation, so we're gonna be good until I find a cute girl to fuck. But that's further down the story. So I go to my orientation, and I go in there with the mindset that I am talking to someone that I'm in a relationship with. Personally, I feel like if we're talking on a deep level, we're in a relationship. We may not be officially boyfriend and girlfriend, but we're in a relationship. We have some type of bond. So that's how I went in orientation. I wasn't looking at no other guys. I was only talking to my friends, you know, reconnecting with people that I hadn't seen since middle school. And I'm like, wow, this school is so great, it's so fun, it's so exciting. I can't wait to come here. This looks so cool. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focusing on where my classes are who my teachers are, how far I gotta run across campus to get to this class before that class ends. That's what I'm focusing on. So yeah, during our orientation, we had the opportunity as a science or math major to do like a summer bridge program that enables us to take courses during a specific time period to kind of get ahead or get on track, as they say, towards our courses. And thinking back now, that would have been a great program for me to get into for my major, because had I done that then, I probably wouldn't be running into so many issues with my college experience that I am now. But you know, I'm talking to my friend, she's like, girl, you should do it, you know, we can do it together, and da-da-da-da. And I'm listening to her, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, wait, how is he gonna feel about it? So I'm telling him, he's like, no, don't do it, we're not gonna spend no more time together before school starts, and da-da-da-da, and I'm not gonna be able to be with you, and if you do it, I'm gonna be so upset. And so I'm really thinking about that, but then I'm hearing all of my friends and my parents in my ear saying, you need to do this, you should do this, you need to do this, you should do this, if you don't do this, da-da-da-da. And I didn't do it because of him. Stupidest mistake I've ever made in my life, but I didn't do it because of him. And everybody was like, why didn't, it's your experience. I'm just like, yeah, you know, I can still do it during the semester, you know. Naive child talk. So orientation ends, and this may be the final countdown before school starts, and this is where things start to get bad. First of all, I just told you guys, he told me not to do a summer bridge program because we wouldn't be able to spend time together. He ended up getting like a little job before he went back to school, and we didn't get to spend that much time together anyway. I was pissed. I was like, well, you're doing this job, I could have been down in West Georgia getting these credits earlier, and I could have been on track. I don't know if I actually said this to him, but I should have. As a partner, I know this now, I didn't understand that then. You're supposed to support your partner in any positive endeavor that they choose to pursue that could boost their success. That would have boosted me up. He didn't partake in it. As a partner, you can say, I'm really gonna miss you, but I feel like you need to do this so you can be ahead when you get there in the fall. That's what a real man would say. A little boy says, no, don't do it because we can't hang out, because we can't spend time together. A little boy wants you to themselves. They want you, they're selfish. They don't let you do things to improve your brand or your education or yourself, because they want you to stay where they can control you while they do what they do. So yeah, that happened and things changed. I don't know what it was, but he just wasn't as sure of us as he was before, and it was throwing me through a loop. I was so confused. So, you know, we said our goodbyes, and he went to school, and I can't remember if we communicated. It was probably very few and far between, but it wasn't like it used to be. And I understand you got classes, you got parties, you got social events on campus, but you can still text me, you know, throughout the day, hey, you know, this is real cool, da-da-da. I think I would hit him up and he would be so dry with the responses, and I was just not understanding what I did wrong for him to act this way towards me. You guys, it was terrible. So fast forward a little bit, I go to school, and eventually we didn't have any type of contact for over a month and a half, and I'm still not knowing what's going on. He wasn't telling me what was going on. So I'm like, is he cheating? Has he moved on? Is he done? Was this just a little summer thing? What's going on? So in my head, I'm like, I need to move on, because I don't got time to sit around and wait for him to figure out what we're going to do to let me know what's going on. I need to move on with my life. I need to have some fun. that's what I did. I started moving on. I started doing me. But it still hurt me so bad deep inside that during my first semester, during my first semester of freshman year, I did a lot of things that were out of my character. I did a lot of things that I would not do. Things that weren't me at all. And I'm not blaming him for that, but I'm blaming allowing that situation to transpire on me doing the things that I did. And I'm not happy about it, but it happened. So I hadn't heard from him. I done this, I done that, and he comes back out of the blue. Oh, my birthday passed, and I got like a dry ass text message on my birthday. But you know, like it was maybe October, and I started school at the end of August, and he hits me up and he's like, oh, you know, we still rocking. And I'm like, we still rocking? I haven't heard from you since this time. And he tried to, you know, say, nah, we were still talking. We weren't. But my naive self went back to him, and I ended up letting him know all the things that I had done in that period that we weren't talking, because I felt like he should know, because I thought we were still on that level. So I told him. He was upset, but then kind of got over it. And then his attitude towards me went from bad to worse, to him doing this whole mind fucking thing, but negatively on me, saying, oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna end up like this person, you should really do this, and I'm believing him, and I'm listening to him. I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that, maybe I shouldn't. My naive self listening to this guy telling me if I do something, I'm gonna be like this, or if I don't do something, I'm gonna be like this. And I'm listening, and he's just talking to me any kind of way, not respecting me at all, and I'm just taking it. And it made my actions of what I was doing worse, because I just wasn't happy anymore. So after a while, I was like, look, we keep trying, because we tried and failed a couple times, but it wasn't working. So I was like, look, we keep trying, it's not working, I think we should just end this all together. And he was like, I think we should too. And then I was like, but maybe, and I was like, maybe we can try again in the future. But I didn't tell him. Then he was like, what? And I was like, you know what, never mind. And it was kind of like, have a nice life. But it was just so rude and so nasty. And I'm just disgusted with that whole situation. So once I officially ended it, so much happened. And what I mean by that is, I saw so much on his social media, subliminals that I felt like he were making towards me, calling me names because of things that I had done out of hurt. I found myself praying that he comes back and understands the hurt that he's caused me. Praying so much for the kid. I was just so hurt. I was so distraught, you know. I couldn't explain how deep my pain went. And it seemed like he was living the good life. Like, after we ended, I had found out from a friend that he was kicking them all while we were all in the kick message. Talking about how he liked how she looked and she was really pretty and stuff like that. And this is at the time, that was one of my close friends. That hurt when I found that out. I also found out that he had a thing for one of my classmates. And the thing was, he tried to talk to her before he talked to me. But I'm the one who answered the message instead. And I got both sides of the story. Got it from her and I got it from him. From him, he was like, yeah, I think she cute, and I tried to, you know, talk to her, but that didn't work out. And then you came into my life, and I just knew you were the one. From her, she was like, yeah, he was all up on my, you know what I'm saying, liking all my pictures and hitting me up, but he just wasn't my type. And I knew her, and I was like, yeah, he really wasn't her type. But it's funny because he kind of said something different. And one thing I would notice, like when I would bring her up, he would get super excited. Tell her I said hey, oh my god, tell her I said what's up, da 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 da. One time he would comment under my picture. He liked it and he commented, but it was for her. And I peeped. So I remember asking him, I was like, do you like her? He was like, no, I don't like her. He lied. He liked her. Big crush on her. In my face. Like, I remember I was like, yeah, I'm here with, you know, da 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 da. And then Toby gonna say, oh my god, tell her I said hey, oh my god. What did she say? Did she say hey back? And I'm like, hey, I'm right here. Wifey right here. I'm not a messenger. You know what I'm saying? That was so disrespectful. Another thing that happened, I mean, the same close friend that he was saying he liked how she looked and he thought she was cute and he would talk to her if she wasn't with someone while he was talking to me. I went under one of her pictures and he put like heart faces. And it was a picture of her in her bikini. And he was very overly sexual. And that kind of rubbed off on me, which is not how I am at all. So I already knew what that meant when he put heart eyes and stuff under her pictures. And she told me, and she was like, I thought it was weird. And I was like, that is so messed up. Yeah, so he was posting stuff about me on social media. One picture he put, because he was working at a store, he had some type of vacuum type thing. He said some thought vacuum or something like that, sucking up all the thoughts or whatever. And he probably wasn't talking about me, but I felt like it was towards me. So I was offended. Because that's not me at all. He would be on social media. One time he said something about, I always dress up when I know I'm finna go get head. And we were talking at that time. And I'm like, who you going to get head from? Because it's not me. You wasn't coming to my house that day. You wasn't even talking to me really that day. So who are you going to get sexual relations with? Oh yeah, one thing was he was very into smoking weed. That's fine, you can smoke weed all you want to. I had a bad experience with smoking weed. I can tell y'all that story if y'all want. Click like if you want to hear that story. But he was like, yeah, you should smoke weed and da da da. And I was like, you know, I don't think you should like smoke weed, you know, to improve yourself. You know, back then I wasn't like saying stop smoking weed. I just kind of wanted everybody to not be on drugs like I wasn't. But I understand everybody leads different lifestyles now. So he got real upset about that. He was like, I always said if someone didn't accept me smoking weed, then peace out. And I'm like, I was taken aback. I was like, I wasn't saying you should stop. I was just saying, like, you know, you should think about something else to do to, you know, relieve stress or whatever. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. He was like, K. And I'm like, oh my god. That was so disrespectful to me. I wish I would have saved messages and just showed you guys these messages. It was terrible, you guys. So I remember going to his Twitter and he had said something like, a bitch just told me to stop smoking weed. Something about what the fuck or something like that. I know it said a bitch and stop smoking weed, and it was right around the time that we had this conversation. And I mean, a couple people retweeted it, and you know, some people had a conversation with him. He didn't really say who it was, but I knew it was me because we had just had that conversation. So I hit him up. I was like, did you call me a bitch on Twitter? And he was like, no, I didn't. Da, da, da. You know, I mean, I feel my eyes, I'm not dumb. What are you talking about? But I just kept trying to make this work because it was so perfect to me. So, time passed, and at the end of my freshman semester, he hit me up because he wanted to come by and talk. I guess this was his way of clearing the air. And I told my mom didn't like him from the jump, but I told her, she was like, tell him no. And I was like, I think I want to hear him out. Still giving people a chance. So I agreed, and he pulls up at my house. First of all, he didn't pull up at the door. He didn't knock on the door. He go into a parking spot in the back. And he's like, oh, come outside. So I come outside, go down the steps, and I'm like, what car are you in? Because, he wasn't always in the same car. This nigga gonna blink his lights at me. And I'm like, you can't be kidding me right now. And he blinked them again. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I walked over there, and he rolled down the window, and he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, whatever. And so we were kind of talking. It was very awkward. It was very weird. And he was on his phone most of the time, and I guess it was his way of apologizing for being so mad at me about the stuff that I done, because he was like, I guess I can't really be mad at you because I ended up sleeping with my RA anyway. And I was like, I already knew you were going to sleep with someone. And he was like, you did? That kind of hurts. And I was like, I kind of expected it. I was just willing to move past it and accept it because that's how much I liked you. And I was kind of like tearing up, trying to tell him how I felt about stuff, because I'm all about closure. If we can go back and forth and talk about what's happened and clear the air and kind of understand each other and, go our separate ways or continue from there, then I feel like we have closure. That's off my chest. So that's what I was trying to do, and he wasn't listening to it. He wasn't having none of it. He wasn't even looking at me, and I was damn near about to cry, trying to tell him how I felt, and it just, it didn't matter. So that ended. He was like, oh, I gotta go. I was like, all right, well, I guess that means I gotta get out of the car. So I'm walking to my house, and he's like kind of riding next to me, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, trying to make sure you get in the house. All right. And I was like, okay, but I'm right here. And I guess he got kind of mad, so he just drove off. He just, went away. And seeing him again and interacting with him again, it was terrible. It was horrible. I remember taking a bath, like a bubble bath, and I was listening to some music. I think it was Mirror, because I felt like that song was us. I felt like we were one. We were the same person. We were so compatible. And I was just crying. Oh my God, you guys. It's so terrible to think about this, but I was crying so much because I was so hurt over this relationship. Like it took a toll on me. It really did. It took a toll on me. It made me think differently about people. It did so much to me. So a little after that, it wasn't that long after we had actually ended, he followed me on Snapchat, and I saw on Snapchat where he was in this room with this girl with no top on. I'm like, what is going on? And then after that, he was cuffed. Like, oh, such and such my baby, all on social media, all on Twitter. Oh, this is my baby, oh, this is my girlfriend. And I'm like, it just made me feel even worse about myself. Like, how come she got the title of girlfriend and I never got the title of girlfriend? What did she do that I didn't? What did she have that I didn't? Like, what was so wrong with me and what was so right with her? It hurts so much, you guys. Oh my God, it's so terrible. It hurts so much to see that, to the point where I had to unfollow him on Twitter. I deleted my Twitter altogether. I didn't want to see that at all. After a while, I did unfollow him on Snapchat because I was so inclined to look at his Snapchat and see what he was doing, see if he was okay, see who he was with, just see him, because I was still into him. It took a long time for me to get over that. And that's when my process started for me to, completely detach myself from him and to move on. And that took me, I'm gonna say, a whole year and a half to move on. It wasn't until going into my junior year, honestly, I was completely over that. Completely done. Of course, I thought about him from time to time. I still think about him from time to time. I don't even know if I still have love for him, honestly. And I would still like to sit down and talk to him and clear the air, because I feel like it was a lot of different misunderstandings, miscommunications. I feel like I've grown from who I was then. I would hope he had grown from who he was then too, that we would be mature enough to sit down and just talk and finally put some closure on this. I mean, I don't too much care anymore. I used to really want that closure. I don't too much care anymore. I made my own closure. But for the most part, beginning of junior year, when I started making videos for my channel, is when I was completely over this guy. After this whole situation, after I think it was the summer, leaving my sophomore year, he hit me up again. I knew it was him. His number wasn't saved, but you just know when certain people hit you up. You don't have to have their number saved. You don't even have to know their new number. You just know. And he wanted to meet up again. And at first I was down for it, but you know what? I was talking to my good friend, T. And she was like, what does he need to see you for? He has nothing to do with your life anymore. He doesn't need to see you. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to see you. And that was that. Hadn't heard from him since then. Hadn't seen anything from him since then. I still follow him on Instagram. I'm thinking about unfollowing him because I don't even look for his profile anymore unless, you know, he passes my mind. There's really no point. That's clearly over and done with on both sides. I am good. I am okay now. I hate that I had to go through that, but I'm glad I went through it because now I know to love myself, to value myself, to respect myself, to know my worth. I know you guys see that so much on social media, but knowing your worth is so big when it comes to friendships, when it comes to partner relationships, when it comes to family, when it comes to jobs. You have to know your worth to know if what you're doing amounts to the same value as what you are worth. Are you worth taking shit from this boss? Are you worth being in this toxic friendship where nothing good comes from it? Are you worth this man who wants to give you so much, who wants to love you, who wants to see you do better, who wants to take you to another level, who wants you for you and not what's on you, what's in you, who wants to get to know you, who wants to love you, who wants to make smaller yous in the future. You have to know what you are worth to know if you should stay in a relationship or if you should leave. And that was one of the biggest lessons. That relationship in my whole freshman year was to know my worth, to learn my worth, to love myself, to embrace myself, to understand when I need to remove myself from a situation, to understand when something doesn't benefit me anymore and it's time for me to leave, to understand to not take no bullshit, because if the tables are turned, they're not gonna take no bullshit. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So that was a big lesson. A big lesson. Another lesson was learning what type of guy I wanted. He had good qualities and then he had bad qualities, and I took that and I kind of started building what I want in a guy. You know, a guy who does this, who doesn't do this. A guy who is like this when he is angry, but who doesn't do this out of anger. A guy who is like this when he's happy, but doesn't do this when he's happy. You know what I'm saying? I started putting that together in my mind. I started not being so easy to jump into certain relationships or to end things when I felt like it was going down a certain path that I didn't want to take again. I started noticing when something was for me and when something wasn't for me. Picking up on little things. I learned a lot from this experience. And in a way, I kind of thank him for teaching me these things. You know, granted, it did do some damage, but I'm putting the pieces back together. It still takes me a while to believe what a person says, because a person can say all day, every day that they love you, that they care for you, that they'll do anything for you. But when it comes down to them actually doing what they say they're gonna do, that's what separates the boys from the men. Okay, that's what separates the real and the fake. You know, I've heard it all now, so it doesn't make my heart flutter when a guy says, oh, you're gonna be my queen one day. I'm kind of like, oh, okay. And that's bad in a way, because I'm so numb to guys saying certain things, but it's also good because I don't fall so easily. So I learned a lot from that situation, and I want you guys to learn that too. Truly take time to yourself to learn your worth. Learn that you are beautiful. Learn that you are worth the wait, that you are worth being someone's girlfriend, someone's wife, someone's other half. You are worth being with a guy who does certain things. And learn when to walk away from things that don't benefit you anymore, because when it doesn't benefit you, it starts to become a sort of parasitic relationship. You know, you keep giving and giving, and they keep taking and taking and taking, and they're going to take as much as they can. They ain't going to stop. You got to learn when to stop. I see this so much on college campuses. These young girls, and I was one of them, so I'm not saying it as if, oh, I'm just this much older than all these girls. I'm older mentally. I may not be older, you know, age-wise, but I'm older mentally, you know, than these situations that these girls get themselves into. Oh, this guy, he just wants to hang out with me at night and sleep with me, but I really like him. And you gotta let that go, honey, because if all he wants to do is sleep with you, is that all you want to do? Because if you want to do that, go ahead, get your little fling going on. You know what I'm saying? It is college, you're supposed to have a little fun. But if that's not what you want, if you want him to commit to you, to be with you only, to be in that relationship with him, and he doesn't want to do that, you cannot make him. He can only do that himself. He can only make himself change for you. And if he doesn't want to change for you, then there's going to be someone who will change or step up to the plate or improve themselves for you, because you are worth it. You are always worth it. You are always worth it. I wish I could go to each and every girl who has these issues, who really doesn't know themselves, and just talk to them and work with them and say, you are always worth it. You've always been worth it. You always will be worth it. God didn't make you so that you weren't worth it. You are worth it. You are loved. You are beautiful. Inside and out. You are a work in progress. You're not going to be perfect. Who's perfect? You know? You just gotta learn to love yourself. You gotta spend some time with yourself. You gotta learn more about yourself. I've learned so much about myself from freshman year to now, and I continue to learn more things about myself. I embrace myself. I don't get too embarrassed when I do embarrassing things anymore, because it's me. It's who I am. Why am I embarrassed for what I do? It's what I do. You know? So if y'all don't take anything else away from this video, just know when to walk away from things and to know you are worth it. You are worth having a good friend, female or male, that motivates you to move forward in life, that wants to see you do good, that cusses you out or lets you know when you're doing something that's not beneficial to you. They are not being no buzzkill. They ain't being no bitch. They ain't being none of that. They letting you know what's up. You need to stop doing this shit before you get caught up. You need to stick to your plan. You need to stay on your path. You need to stay in your lane, because I see a lot of girls who don't stay in their lane when it comes to guys. A lot of guys who don't stay in their lane when it comes to girls too, but that's another video. I can do that too. Y'all want it? Comment below if you want it. But that's the end of my video. I'm glad I finally got this out. It's kind of like a weight is lifted. I don't know how many people are gonna watch this video. I hope I was very, you know, concise in all the details. I will leave out his name. I'm not gonna put it up there because he might find this video. I might be big someday, which is what I want to be, you know. But comment below if there's something else that you want to know that I wasn't able to share. If something wasn't clear, I can clear it up. Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for 70 subscribers to my YouTube channel. This is so exciting for me. 70 people are subscribed to my channel. That's a beautiful thing. I'm on my way somewhere, you guys. Rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna be honest, some of that stuff I was reading I didn't know nothing about, so I automatically went straight to everybody else's discussion response.